right, everybody, welcome back. Gina is here from Remax Diamond Realty Guam. Gina, half a day.
Half a day.
Okay, we've got a great viewer question. Now, we've been taking some online questions from our online community.
Yeah.
This one is really interesting because, Gina, this person says, hello, I've made some assistive modifications to a home I own to accommodate for a person with a disability, specifically a ramp and an in-house elevator system, essentially a lift.
That's interesting.
Yeah, this person asked, Gina, does this affect the overall value of my home when I try and sell it on the open market? And do I need to clear such a modification with the government?
You know, depending on how they, elevator or lift, depending on how they added that on, if it was a structural design, then they should have really gotten a building permit to add that in.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a lift, and I've seen the lifts. In fact, there's a commercial building on Marine Drive that has a lift. And that's not structural in nature. It's a mechanical design. So they, you know, I'm sure he had a professional install that.
Might be one of those folding platforms that you just put on some. Well, they use the word specifically an in-house elevator system. So I don't know if that means they broke a hole in the ceiling to get from the bottom floor to the top floor. But it sounds something like that.
And if it was structural in nature, it's a good idea for them to get that looked at to make sure, because if I were buying that particular home, I'd want to know that it was structurally sound and they did get a building permit to put that in there. Because the value is going to be in me, in the ability to prove that it was approved and it was designed well. Because that's going to affect the value when the appraiser comes in. They're going to ask, hey, this looks like it was a structural, the concept needed structural work. Did you get plans for this? So it's important that that's done. If that's what they did, they actually installed an elevator. It's important they have the proper documents so that the appraiser can give them value for it. But now let's take a look at, you know, in the marketplace, let's say all that's in place. By having something so specialized as an elevator in the home, does that make the value go up or down? It's hard to say. And the reason I say that is because, you know, with swimming pools, I'll use that as an example because it's something everybody could understand.
First of all, would that be classified as an enhancement, either a pool or an elevator?
See, in the real estate business, we always thought, you go look at a house that has a swimming pool, we think, oh my gosh, this is an enhancement.
No brain deal. Yeah.
No brainer.
No brainer.
But when we take customers and we go show the property, and it's different. When we're showing rentals, everybody wants the pool, it's fantastic. But when we're showing properties for sale, we notice half of our buyers are like, oh my gosh, I have to maintain this. What about the insurance problem? What happens if it has a leak? How would this affect my water bill? And then we have half the customers saying, gosh, you know, maybe I'd rather look at a house without a pool.
Now, does that mean they have to have a separate policy just for the pool aside from the house, or does that all fall inclusive of the home insurance policy?
From what I understand with the insurance people that I've talked to, if you have a policy that covers the house, you can add additional liability coverage to include the pool.
Okay.
And you're good to go. So it's not a separate policy, it's an enhancement to your existing homeowner's policy. But that's what I mean about something like this, where it's so specialized, you have an elevator in your home. Half the market's gonna love it because it's something that is unique, and maybe if you have a family member that could really utilize something like this, you'd want that. But then you have the other half of the market who'll say, what am I gonna use this for? It sounds like it's fantastic, but it's like the swimming pool concept. They're gonna say, what am I gonna use it for? How do I maintain it? What, you know, there's so many other questions that pop up with something like this. So it's hard to say, yes, it is an enhancement for sure, but then you have to target market who will benefit from buying a house like this. So what happens is when we start doing that, you're actually eliminating buyers, because now we're looking for a special buyer who would appreciate something like that. But it doesn't mean it diminishes your value. I think it just, we have to it's a specialized marketing then. We're looking for people who could appreciate that.
So does the homeowner, and maybe you by proxy as the real estate agent, does it involve you putting a certain amount of salesmanship or a spin on it and just say, hey, you know, you've got a pool. If you have kids, they can enjoy this. If, you know, you're into entertaining, you know, you can throw parties and, you know, you're going to be the hit of the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
As opposed to seeing it as just even more debt.
You know, absolutely. If you're going to market something like this, and it's the same concept that goes to marketing fixer-uppers, you need to market the thing that is unusual about the property. Because what you want to do ahead of time is you want to eliminate the people who won't appreciate it. by targeting that aspect of the home, the uniqueness of it, you're actually, what you're trying to do is weed out the people who are not going to appreciate that. Weed them out so they don't waste their time coming and looking and finding out, oh, you know what, we don't like this part of the property anyway. So you eliminate them right off the bat. You don't waste their time. You're just attracting the people who will say, you know what, I can really appreciate and use that.
Differentiate your product and make
That's
sure you
right.
identify your target market. Marketing 101 right there.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
That was fascinating. I'm going to look into this some more.
Yeah. We
Thanks so
can
much.
discuss it again on another program.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, we are going to take a commercial break. Gina and I are going to discuss this way more about possibly putting a pool in my home when we come back.
Thank you.